Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I am your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is June 8th, 2022, and it is another fabulous day here in Colorado. I got my dog at my feet. The sun is shining. It couldn't be a more perfect summer day. And it is also World Oceans Day. So we have some of the most amazing people with us today. One of my favorites is going to join me right now, Miss Wanda Thomas with KHM Education Team. Welcome, Wanda.
Hello, everyone. So good to see you, my friend.
It's so good to see you too. So we're going to do a little team talk here before we break into the show, but I had to kind of chuckle to myself because you got to leave it to the news industry, right? So the summer travel season has begun, and I love the descriptive words that are being used. Words like mayhem, havoc, pandemonium. Really, as a travel advisor, it makes you feel really good about the job that you're looking to do this summer. So not super encouraging in my book. But for those of you that are here today, and I see a couple already on the public chat, hello. Tell me, does this bug you? How are you preparing for the season? Wanda, when you hear words like this, what are you doing to set yourself up for success for the summer season?
I mean, I have to agree that there's so many variables that's happening at the time. I mean, the influx of those individuals that are wanting to travel, that have a lot of last minute requests, things of that nature. It's creating quite a chaotic environment, as it would. You feel like you're grabbing from every single corner. So I totally agree with that. Not to mention, I mean, if you think about also all these flight cancellations, I started writing my blog this morning in regards to all the different things that are happening in the industry. And I was looking at the fact that the number of flights that have been canceled so far this year. I looked at statistics for last year. I mean, for instance, in 2021, it says that there were 103,000 flights that were canceled, US-based flights that were canceled. In 2020, that was 281,000. And then in 2019, 135,000 flights were canceled. And I'm curious to see what that number is going to look like at the end of this year with all that's happening with the shortage of pilots, the need for them to get their flight hours back up, et cetera, in order to be in the cockpit. I think I also read something to the effect that that's one of the reasons companies like JetBlue are trying to get that Spirit, et cetera, because they want to try and get more pilots that are available to fly the flight, so forth and so on. So, all of that is creating crazy chaos in our industry, but as well as for us, of course, as agents trying to keep up with all the different alerts, all the different changes. I talked to a representative at AAV the other day, and she was going, she says, we're working like crazy. There's constant changes with these flights, et cetera. So it is. I have to agree with those descriptors.
Yes.
It's chaotic. It is crazy. It is just mind-blowing. You name it, it's there.
It's like someone got their thesaurus out and started, putting in all these words. And I can't say when it comes to the summer, those are the words I want to hear. But, before I ask you my next question, I just want to say hello to Three Treasures Travel and Monique. Oh, so good to see you.
Yes.
And, I think that I want to say Biz, is that you, Lawrence and Tammy? So good to see you guys. Feel free to put your comments in the chat there as we're talking about this. When it comes to last minute bookings, have you flat out told anyone, I am so sorry, but I don't have the bandwidth right now to take this on for you? Have you had to? Because I have said that.
I have not had to say it to, of course, some of my more loyal client base. I definitely have a few, like I had somebody reach out to me last night, and I know that I have worked with this individual in the past, and it's a him and a ha, and I send her the information, work it up, et cetera. Even though she pays my research fee, I do everything, but then she never responds afterwards to give me any feedback. Does she want to move forward? She never books, da-da-da. And so last night she started asking me all the questions, and I said, well, sorry, I don't have anything. I don't think I'm gonna have the bandwidth to be able to help you with that this time. So yes, I have had at least definitely one at this particular point. But just like in any situation, I'm picking and choosing. My more loyal clients, definitely trying to squeeze them in and get things taken care of for them in a quick manner. And also, of course, as always, trying to teach a man how to fish. So definitely educating them about the chaos that is taking place and the long queues that we do have with the number of people that are in our queues and getting them accomplished. So some people we got to turn away.
Yes. When I tell people 3.5 hours, 3.5, 4 hours at the airport, oh, come on, it can't be that bad. It can be.
Yes,
and I'd rather you be sitting at your gate than running to your gate.
Exactly.
So let's just do us all a favor and get there early so we can feel good about it.
Absolutely.
Well, I think, I want to encourage everyone to, stick with their plan, find their focus, and it's okay to say no if you truly don't believe that you can provide that level of service that your clients have come to expect from you, or, it's okay. There are challenges right now that take us away from what we normally would be doing. And so that's where I have to say, I actually just had to say to someone the other day, I'll get you your quote as soon as possible, but I have clients stuck in a destination and they have to come first right now. Exactly. And they totally appreciate that, because that's what I would do if it was them.
Yeah, I think that's important. You've got to set the expectation with the client, have that open communication path with them, let them know what the obstacles are to the short time frame that they have, et cetera, and also how that could impact them. I mean, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, are thinking, whoa, the pandemic's over, but there's still some requirements out there. Sure, a lot of places have dropped some things, but there's still a few things out there that have to be done. So some of these last minute requests, they can't do them anyway.
Right.
That kind of thing. Right. So it's definitely things to make sure to be open and honest with your client about in regards to that. I am actually also working on a communication to go out to my clients. Since you've asked me this question a couple of times, how do you handle it when you're traveling? I'm actually sending out a communication today that basically says I'm going to be out of the office, and then it's got kind of an FAQ at the bottom. If this happens, let me show you this. This is how you can help yourself basically in this particular situation. So I'm getting that prepared right now to get that sent out. So I think that's a good tip as well, is to make sure to preemptively get your clients ready to help themselves at the same time.
Yes. I love that. Well, you're here for our next segment as well. So let's go ahead and bring on one of my other favorite people, Anita Pagliasso, Vice President of Industry Relations for KHM Travel Group.
One of my most favorite people place as well.
Yes.
Hi. Hi. I miss both of you. Hi, Wanda.
I know. I can't wait to see you this coming weekend. I can't believe it. I'll see you on Saturday.
Absolutely.
But you both are here to talk about the Travel Professionals of Color conference that you attended just a few weeks ago. Anita, why was this so important for you to attend on behalf of KHM?
Yeah, I've been to several of their conferences, and I've said from the very beginning that each one of them for me is life-changing. And they call me their most colorful member because TPOC stands for Travel Professionals of Color. So I've been asked several times, I've been honored several times to go to their conferences and really experience the heritage tours that they put together, which honestly, I get so emotional just talking about it. And I was so thrilled that Wanda could actually join me on one of these conferences and experience kind of what I saw. And I mean, the conference started off, and we were welcomed everywhere we went. The mayor of Beaufort, the mayor of Savannah. I mean, the red carpet was rolled out for us because this is an important demographic. And I think it was something they said that the worth of the travel is like, I don't know, $47 billion. I might be wrong on that, Wanda, but it's something like that kind of heritage tours that happen out there. And, I'll let Wanda talk about kind of where we went and what we did, but it was fantastic. And I'm very happy about it.
I haven't been to that part of the country, but I loved watching your journey, Wanda. You're so good at posting pictures. So share a little bit about, you know, what you learned at the conference piece, and then there was that tour piece as well.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll start, like you said, with the conference. The conference was awesome. The tour took the first part of it, and then it was the conference. But the conference, I really loved our speakers. We had some fabulous speakers that were in the location. We had a director of the Gullah Geechee corridor that was there that shared information about her family and about how the slaves from basically the southeastern of the United States kind of have a correlation with one another, if you would, in regards to they're all considered, i.e. Geechee, as it were. I lived in Charleston for about 5 years, and my stepfather was from Charleston. So, you know, the whole concept of what people call Geechee is when you see somebody eating a lot of rice, you say, you've got to be Geechee. And my stepfather, as an example, we had rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so we talked a little bit about that because, of course, most people think of slavery in the South about cotton. And it really is that there was rice was the main product that was being cultivated, if you would, by the slaves that ended up in that corridor, if you would. And so rice became a major staple for a lot of people in that area to eat. And, you know, of course, there's a dialect that goes along with it that has a little bit of West Indies spill to it, if you would. So it's very interesting to learn kind of how everything came together, how it melds together, and how there's a connection all up and down that coast of the different individuals that are connected from the slave trade from that standpoint. So very, very interesting. That was, you know, just one of the speakers. I mean, Royal Caribbean was there, and I have to give them a shout out because I've seen them at a couple of different things of recent. I think they were very deserving of our DE&I award because I've been to a couple of things recently that they've all been present at. And so they were there. They gave some good information. And actually, I think they are one of the sponsors of the conference next year because I think it's a cruise that's going to be taking place on Royal Caribbean. So it was really awesome for all the different speakers that we had, and kind of as Anita said, you know, to have the different mayors and key individuals to be present and to provide the information they did was amazing. I think the trade show that Anita and I were a part of was very productive. We had a lot of agents that came through. We had great conversation with them, et cetera. So I think that was very much worthwhile. I mean, again, thinking about that trade show that was at the conference, there was, you know, again, Royal Caribbean was one of the people there. We had tourism boards from Miami, from Louisville, Kentucky, from the Grenadad area, as well as several of the Caribbean areas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, et cetera. So there was a lot of representation there from different vendors that provided additional information.
Food too. Oh my God. Exactly. I was like, oh, you know, going from Savannah to Charleston and making those stops along the way. And there was a famous gal, the cake lady. We stopped at her place that, you know, she's on the Food Network. We went there. We went to Tybee Island.
Yes.
They really traced a lot of that whole corridor from all the way from Savannah down to Charleston and stopped all the way along. And the history, I mean, for anybody that ever wants to go on something like this, and we're working really closely with TPOC. Dr. Bocher was phenomenal. He's been an educator all his life. He was on there. We got to meet his wife.
I was going to ask you because I know I think you'd met him before, Wanda, but you know he's like one of my favorite guests ever that we've had on the show. Was he as good in person as he was on the show?
And the only thing was he's so much taller. He said the same thing about me too, but he's so much taller in person that, of course, being on the Zoom, he didn't even know who I was because I walked by him and I said, well, hello, my friend. And he was like, hello. He didn't know who I was. And eventually he was like, I've been looking for Wanda. And I said, I'm Wanda. He's like, really? You look different. You know, I said, yeah, you do too.
You know, I'm always the shortest one in the crowd. So he was there, and he's really excited because he's now part of KHM DE&I. And, you know, I was honored to be able, they asked me to be the speaker on the DE&I, and I really covered, you know, what they appreciated is heritage tours cover so much more than just African Americans. There's Hispanics, there's everything. And there's also the LGBT, I can't say, I always forget, and it's you know, there's that, there's, you know, there's so many things, and the special needs. And so we covered so many different things that really are inclusive into the DE&I, and really happy that we were able to, because I've kind of taken them with me over the years, because I do believe in you go on one of their heritage tours and you'll be a friend and a member for life, because it is, no matter, like me being the most colorful, it doesn't matter. You just learn a lot about our own history right here in the United States. I had no idea until several years about, never heard Gullah Geechee. And I would urge every single listener to go on. I think I sent, Carolyn, did I send you the link for the YouTube? I sent somebody.
Yes, we should be posting it in the comments. Yes.
Yeah. We'll have to do that, because anybody wants to learn about the Gullah Geechee. It's fascinating. Absolutely.
It is.
Fascinating.
Yeah, to that point, there were two stories that, there was so many stories, but two stories that really stood out to me. One was the Weeping Time, which is you have to Google it, because it truly is interesting to read about it. But it was one of the last, if you would, slave auctions, if you would, that took place. And the reason they call it Weeping Time is because it started raining on the day this auction began, which was, I think, a 2-week period or something of that nature, and literally stopped the moment the last slave was auctioned off. But the story itself, the full story, is just amazing. But then there was another story as well about Mother Matilda, who was the first African-American nun, or African nun, I will put it that way. And then she started the first orphanage for Africans as well in, was it Savannah? I can't remember. I think it was Savannah was where the location is. But the stories, the history was just amazing, truly amazing.
What was, her name was Anita also, but she dressed still in the Gullah Geechee, the garb. It was beautiful. And they did a reenactment and they sang. Everywhere we went, somebody would break out singing, which was also fascinating too. So
it sounds like something that is both refreshing but exhausting at the same time.
Yes, it's emotional.
Because
it
that's
is.
what it's on. So I feel like this is a silly question to ask you now that you both have spoken, but would you go again, and do you recommend it to others?
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're very fortunate that we do have this partnership with TPOC, and it's kind of this mutual admiration society that we have, and they know that we're the host agency of record, and they're very proud to have that kind of disclaimer, and they send in leads to us. They want to join because they know our heart, they know the KHM heart, and about our DE&I initiatives and everything else. So it makes a perfect partnership. So yeah.
Well, I thank you both for being here today. Anita, I can't wait to see you this weekend. And Wanda, I will see you tomorrow at our meeting as well. But we thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. You guys, before we go on to our next guest, who I'm super excited about, as you can see, for those of you that have tuned in live, we're getting some sort of nasty comments in the public chat there. So my apologies, our apologies. This isn't the type of viewer that we typically have on here. So, if you were watching earlier on, you saw my face shocked, as Wanda's as well. So let's just ignore those and we'll continue on. So I am so excited. Whenever I reach out to this next supplier and say, hey, I have this idea, I'm never quite sure if they're going to come through, yet every single time they do. So here to celebrate World Oceans Day with us is Melissa O'Hara, who is the manager of dive sales for Sandals and Beaches Resorts, and Tyrone Phillips, who's a dive instructor, and they're live from Grenada. I didn't know this was happening.
We always like to keep you on your toes. We like to keep everybody surprised. We always come through. We just like to make it, a little more exciting than you're expecting.
It always is.
A little surprise.
It is. Yeah. Shout out to Olivia Rodriguez. She's so fabulous. Every time I email her and say, I've got this crazy idea, who do you have for me? She always comes through. So I am so excited to see you guys live from Grenada. I love scuba diving. I think it is one of those amazing sports out there, and I do consider it a sport that people can participate, all ages of kids, starting at 10 or 12, 13. But it's really unusual for a resort to have their own dive program and to be so comprehensive. You know, Melissa, what was the mindset? I mean, it's been around for a long time, but why this activity?
So we've always had the assumption and the kind of that idea from the Honorable Mr. Gordon Butch Stewart, who we lost last year. Give the guests more than they expect every single day of life. And diving is just another one of those elements that we brought into the totally luxury all-inclusive that is Sandals and Beaches Resorts. You know, we partnered with Patty in 1997, but before that we had Naui. So we welcome every certified diver, regardless of what their certification
It doesn't
is.
matter. Even if it's not Patty, Naui, we're here for everyone.
Exactly.
Okay. So I was doing a little research and I was surprised by the number of dive sites that you guys go to. 10 alone in the Montego Bay area. And Melissa, I know when I said that to you, you said, yeah, but there are others that we go to.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait, there's more. So tell me, Tyrone, what is your favorite dive site?
All right, for me here in Grenada, one of my favorite dive sites is a dive called Shack Reef. It's on the Atlantic Ocean. It's within like 50 feet of water. Aquatic life, extremely vibrant. Colors, the reef, everything's cool, man. Beautiful.
And it's a boat dive, not a shore dive.
Yeah, well, most dives here at Sandals, it's right off the boat.
Okay.
And what makes it more amazing here at Sandals Grenada is that most of the dive sites is not even 10 or 5 minutes away from the resort. So it's not a show dive, but you get on the boat, but you don't have too much of a long drive to get to that dive site. Yeah.
Oh,
You can almost see the resort still from
Exactly.
the boat when you jump in.
yes. Well, I
Yeah.
can hear the water. It's making me crazy because I'm thinking,
Oh, we'll show you. We'll show you in a second.
All right, Melissa, what's your favorite?
So here in Grenada, this is the first time I've actually gotten to do a lot of the diving in Grenada. So we did Flamingo Bay today,
beautiful.
and we did Dragon Bay, you know, our 2-tank dive, because we include 2 tanks a day with all of your equipment, the dive boats, everything. So we did that today. Yesterday, I got to go to the Molinaire Underwater Sculpture Park, which really has a lot of really cool history from the Hurricane Ivan back in 2004, kind of really devastating the island, and how it's brought it back to life almost. And that underwater ecosystem, it's incredible. It's thriving, like he said. It's vibrant. There are so many fish. I have photos and videos that I'm posting today. Just I become one of the fish because they're literally all around you. You almost can't see through them.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be heaven to me. Absolute heaven. When you are thinking about, you know, a vacation to Sandals or Beaches, and you are someone who hasn't been a diver before, what should someone do to prepare for a trip if they think this is something that they want to explore?
You want to take
All
that?
right, yeah. So first off, Patty, even now as well, they makes it quite easier for a guest from a different country to come to our island to take a course, because you could actually start the course home, and then when you come over to the resort, you just do like the practical stuff, the pool work. Then we take you out to open water. So I think Sandals on a whole makes it quite easier for, you know, a large diversity of people to come to Sandals, and not just Sandals Grenada on a whole, and have a wonderful experience diving, because it makes it easier. You have everything provided for you. You have some of the top instructors, not just in the region, but worldwide. Yeah. Yeah. And that's not just coming from me. A lot of the guests who comes to Grenada and to Sandals Resorts, they give excellent comments, and it's not biased comments. So, you know, it's coming from the heart. Yeah, man. Some of the best on the island here, man.
Well, and this is not something that you really mess around with, right? Like you have to have the best. Like this isn't just, you're not floating on top of the ocean. You really need to have those great instructors to teach you the do's and the don'ts, because it can have serious consequences if you don't. Let's talk about Sandals and their commitment to the oceans, because it is World Ocean Day. You know, with diving as part of the program at every resort, you have to have a little bit of a kinship and a heart for the environment.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
That's so true. On a whole, Sandals Grenada, I must say, and that's something that we do daily. So even today for World Ocean Day, we was trying to do a little bit of cleaning up, and truth and fact, there wasn't any trash.
There was one bottle,
Oh,
one bottle on the dive today.
music
So
to my ears.
yeah, they're doing the cleanup dives, the beach cleanups. I mean, we partner with Patty, of course. So that top of the line partnership, we have the Patty Aware programs, the conservation programs, the dive against debris programs, and now in Sandals Royal Curacao, which opened on June 1st, another amazing dive expectation and dive location. We actually have literally a new goal where we have partnered with AFC Ajax from the Netherlands, and we actually have put into place, and the Sandals Foundation has donated the equipment necessary to the recycling plants to turn what we call the plastic soup and those forgotten ghost nets that are in the ocean, repurposing them and turning them into soccer goals for the local communities. So the first school in Curacao actually received their soccer goal nets for Goals through the Sandals Foundation in May, ahead of Sandals Royal Curacao opening. So we are definitely moving on and from the future, or from the ocean for the future, and really connecting with that one ocean type of experience.
So I want you both to share with me a favorite dive memory or location. It doesn't have to be where you are, but do you have a favorite memory or location that you've been throughout the world that you go, oh my gosh, I've dove a lot, but nothing compares to this?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go first. It's difficult for you to choose actually like a single dive site. You might have a particular drift dive that might be your best dive. You might have a deep dive, or even a wreck dive that might be your favorite dive. So for me, one of my number one drift dive is in St. Lucia. That's in it's called Superman Flight.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Nice. Superman's Flight is it's actually right at the bottom of the Piton Mountains, PT Piton, and it's such a beautiful dive because the current is moving, man. It's called Superman Flight because you're flying. My best wreck dive, it's actually one of the largest wrecks you find in the Caribbean. It's called the Bianca Sea. And for me, why it makes it my favorite wreck dive, because it's a pretty technical dive in terms of safety. You always have to be safe, even if safety is your main priority here. But that dive, the Bianca Sea, you have to be a little bit extra cautious. So whenever I'm able to take the guests there and experience the beauty of it and, showing them how safe it could be as well, that's a plus for me. And lastly, my favorite reef, it's called the Weebles Reef. And it's right out here, right next to our hotel. It's not even 5-minute boat ride away from it. Aquatic life, it's like a rainbow under the water, man. Beautiful. You guys have to experience that, man.
What time's the next flight?
Right?
Melissa, how about you?
So like you said, it's hard to choose just one. I love Superman's Flight, and I mean, it's incredible, just the clarity and the number of fish and the vibrancy out there. I've done a night dive out there in St. Lucia as well, so that was fun. I saw my first octopus there in St. Lucia. I'm hoping maybe for some manta rays tonight in tonight's night dive, but
hopefully.
Honestly, just the experience of diving with your loved ones at Sandals and Beaches is just one of my favorite memories across the board. I've been able to dive with my dad. I got my fiance certified. It's keeping that idea of doing the things that you love with the people that you love. And that's really where Sandals and Beaches comes into play, because it's not a hard decision to make. It's, hey, do you want to dive today? Yeah, okay, let's go. It's not we have to plan and prepare and we paid this much for it and I don't want to miss out. It's so leisurely. I call it princess diving at Sandals and Beaches because they almost every time this week they've carried my stuff to the boat for me. And I'm just like, okay, I just go and sit.
And we always try to take you back in time for lunch.
Yep. I was back by 12:05 today.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I got my husband into it when we were first married because we were heading to Tahiti for our honeymoon. And I basically said, I'm going to dive. You have a choice, get certified or not. But I'm still going because it's Tahiti. And our very first dive, he got, I'm in Colorado, so we don't have a lot of open water. So it was his very first open water dive, and we did a shark dive. And to this day, he still is like, I can't believe we were married for 3 days and you take
And you
me to
put
the
me in
bottom of the
sharks.
ocean. There's sharks swimming around. But I prefer to
That's love and
dive.
commitment.
Yeah, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that my son is going to get certified in the next couple months because he's actually doing a liveaboard next summer. So he has to get certified. But
Yeah.
it really is one of those things that I think is truly magical. And when you can share it with others, and it's one of those things that you just can't forget.
Absolutely.
So true. Yeah,
So
true.
one more question for you, Melissa. This is really geared towards you. It is Pride Month. We love to celebrate this every week. You heard from Anita and Wanda about our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. What sort of couples does Sandals welcome to all of their properties?
I'm going to make it very, very simple, and I'm going to say it twice. Sandals is created for two people in love. Two people. Every couple, every guest, honestly,
Yeah.
as long as you're comfortable sharing that king size bed and you're over the age of 18, bring them on. Come and enjoy Sandals. And
Yeah.
Tyrone was telling me a story earlier about really just all of the guests here. And when you're looking around, everybody is so focused on
Yeah.
each other, on themselves and on that person that they brought with them, that
Yeah.
there's no discrimination. It's you love who you love. And we love.
Yeah.
That's why
Yes,
we were
you do.
created. Yeah, that's why we were created. And of course, across our 16 resorts, you have the brand new Sandals Royal Curacao. We're looking into some additional islands as well. Soon come. We've got 2 new resorts coming in Jamaica for Sandals, a beaches resort.
I think St. Vincent is always up.
Yep,
also.
St.
Yeah.
Vincent and the Grenadines for another beaches resort. We're expanding to include everyone that wants to
Yeah.
come, because right now the resorts are full. So even with the flight issues and all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, the
It's
resorts are
not
full.
stopping people. It's aggravating people, but it's not stopping them.
They are still
Oh.
coming, and especially in Grenada, all
Yeah.
of the requirements for entry have dropped. So it is very easy. I felt like it was 2019 again.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
walked into the airport, showed my
Yeah.
passport, said, here's my ticket, and I was on the flight.
I love it. Tyrone, will you ever leave Grenada and go to somewhere else?
Well, I'm a Boston Celtics fan, so I would like to come to Boston and see the Celtics play, but
Not diving there.
no, not diving. Yeah, but I'm what they call an island boy. I have a lot of like that island culture in me. Still respect my elders. Show love to everyone. And he was talking about like Pride Month. This island, especially Grenada and Sandals Grenada, I think we're known for that. Like we're a no nonsense people, but truth and fact, we're a big love. You see?
Yeah.
So anyone comes to the island, and I was saying to Melissa a bit earlier, I'm like, you don't have to train us to be like that. That's just how we are. You're on an island that has like almost 63% unemployment, less than 1% crime. That says a lot about the people, man. It's a big love here.
Absolutely.
Really, really nice here, man.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We could learn from you all.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're getting lots of hearts and kisses for you guys. So thank you so much for being here today. It is an absolute pleasure. Trust me, it's been added to my list to come down and see you guys and do a little diving. So Tyrone, I hope to meet you soon. Melissa, you live in the States.
Yeah.
We should see you sooner rather than later.
Yes, I am in North Carolina, so I've got American flights everywhere.
Wonderful. Well, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you so much for your time. Go enjoy. Oh,
Thank
let me
you.
see the beach first.
We'll turn you
Yeah.
to the beach. We're up here
Oh,
in the
gosh.
tower of the Pinkton Village,
Oh, it's gorgeous.
so you
Little
can see it's a
cloudy.
beautiful day. Little cloudy, but hey, that means no sunburn, right?
Yeah, someone's out there on a little kayak, it looks like.
Yep, we call it. We've got what I call either the lily pads. Yeah. or the ocean O's.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody has their own little favorite word for it.
My one of my first vacations with my kids was to beaches Ocho Rios, and I was like, the minute I got there, we saw those ginormous trikes that go in the water, and we thought this is a great idea. It is one of the hardest things you can do.
It is. It's very difficult.
It is really hard. I was
hard.
like, oh, why did we ever do this? It was the two of us with my daughter in the middle. My son was too young at the time. But oh my gosh, that is a workout. We paddled and then went right back to the shore. I thought, oh, nope, I'm done.
We see that a lot.
For the rest
of
of
the
the
week.
a lot. Thank you so much for being here. And the comments in the are so lovely towards you, and your honesty is wonderful. So we appreciate that. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Go enjoy that night dive, and I hope you see some manta rays.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Fingers crossed.
You guys, thanks so much. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, later.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, as we mentioned, the summer is exceptionally busy. They were just lovely. I can't wait to go down and visit. The summer is an exceptionally busy season, and for travel advisors, we've got family reunions, we've got destination weddings going by leaps and bounds. Here to share how we can best prepare for these large groups to travel so we can have just a little bit of peace of mind is Mr. Kevin Kelly from the groups department. Hello, Kevin.
Howdy. How's it going, Carolyn?
Good. Didn't it make you want to jump on a plane and head to Grenada?
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
I want to go hang out with Tyrone on the dive boat.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. So, when we have our groups, whether they're family reunions or weddings or cruise groups, I feel like I need to go the extra mile for them. What are some of the things we can do with our current environment of travel to help them feel cared, supported for, and loved?
Well, I mean, Wanda said it best, having them prepared for things that may come along. We do that. And, even before I was over here at KHM, we've always with our groups, we've put together an FAQ sheet. And we've always had FAQs, frequently asked questions. And we prepare them before they leave that if this happens along the way, here's the numbers to call. If they're going to a cruise, well, geez, don't call me. The cruise line wants you to call them and notify them if you're having difficulty getting to the ship. So just keeping the client in the loop and that type of thing is really, the way to prepare them. And and really right now we have so many benefits for say cruises. You have your personalizer. If you're going to a land resort, you have all those things ahead of time, and you have all your updates and you file all your papers and you do all that type of thing. So keeping the people in the loop and keep them the whole time, keeping them together, it really, really works. Yeah.
Well, and I think I find myself sitting down and blocking a set of time. And I find myself doing it on the weekend because when no one else is in my house, I'll block 2 hours and I'll go through each of my clients' upcoming trips and just make notes of what has been done, what needs to be done. And sometimes that just gives me peace of mind to know that something isn't falling through the cracks.
Yeah.
So what are some of the tools and tips that you give regarding hiccups? Like, you mentioned it. Don't call me if you're going to be delayed, call the cruise line. But what if it's an error thing? What are some of those things that you tell people that might help them out?
Well, now post-COVID, or I guess we're still in COVID, but we start early on, don't we, by offering insurance and trying to get them to purchase. It's almost like, hey, you do not travel nowadays unless you have insurance. And then there's a representative there to help you if your flight is canceled. Because if your flight's canceled, those days to go to the desk, like they show in the movies, and you get them to help you get on another flight, those are gone. Those days are gone.
Yes,
you need help somewhere else. And so we start right at the beginning by making sure that you have travel protection, because that helps you along the way. I think that's probably the number one item that we can do for our clients is offer travel protection. Yeah.
So I had my first experience this week, and where a client ended up stuck in destination because of COVID. And what I made a mental note, because I've got other people going to similar destinations, not necessarily the same one in Europe coming up this summer. But in my mind, I need to send them an FAQ with steps as to what to do should they test positive, right? I knew what I needed to do, and I had my steps.
Yeah.
But I need to give that to them as well.
Absolutely.
so that they can execute some of those steps and make sure that they're following what the country is requesting. And what I'm finding is what's listed on a country website doesn't necessarily match the airline. And so you've got this conflicting information. And so doing that FAQ so that they have it, not just me, right? The minute they called, I knew exactly what I was going to do, but they almost didn't know what to do. And so it's something that I have learned might help everyone manage it better if I give that information up front.
And isn't that something, the notes you put aside 2 months ago may not apply today, though?
Right.
We were just in with one of the cruise lines.
Yes.
We're talking about the requirements for a pre-cruise. If you have pre-cruise stay, it's a little different as opposed to the flights, the requirements you have for the flights and the requirements you have for the cruise. You have 3 different sets of requirements, but it's bringing back everyone back to the travel. They're bringing them back to us because sales are up at KHM across the board. We're seeing it week in and week out. The commissions that are going out to agents are really taking off because that's what's going on. People are using a travel advisor. They need a travel advisor. And this is what you're trying to share with everyone today. What do you need to do to keep your client educated is pretty much what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm laughing here because Lawrence is saying that he got this call this morning from Paris. Same situation. Lawrence will have to exchange notes on what we did, how we said, and how we did it. So I'm happy to report mine will be coming home tomorrow. But, it is nerve-wracking. And, thankfully I have the text that says couldn't have done it without you. So, right then and there, there's the value. Group travel, Kevin, this summer, when you've got these folks that are traveling together, for family reunions, weddings, whatever, it's a huge opportunity for agents as well. How so?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's where I see more of it. I see the opportunity, to get them to travel. Right now, this year, if somebody wants to travel this summer, you're pretty much out of luck. I mean, you're a day late and a couple $1,000s short. Yes. But anyways, what I have always found, and boy, it's really going this summer, it's really strong because people are ready to get back to travel. And, they're as we're getting past this COVID thing, now they're really looking into the future and they're ready to go. And I've always found that, Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July weekend, it's when families and people get together. And when you have these groups, do your marketing, reach out to the group beforehand, give updates. If you're doing a cruise, what are the latest updates on the cruise? And that's your marketing that gets them, because as we know, how do groups grow? Groups, gets the snowball effect. This guy, he has a friend at work, and that guy's like, geez, I'd like to go with you guys too. He brings that friend from work. The friend from work has a friend that lives across the street, and that neighbor comes. And that's how we see a lot of these groups grow. And that's how I've seen groups grow when I do promotional type groups, or they're all affinity groups to me, but that's how a lot of it. And by doing your marketing around the holidays, which is not really in your face marketing saying, hey, get on board, but hey, here's what's going on. Keeping them involved with what's going on. And like we like to say, emotionally committed. When you get the deposit out of somebody and you get them over at the cruise line, they get their personalizer together, or if they're at a land resort, and you keep updating them, as the updates from the resort come out, you keep the client emotionally involved, and that helps bring business. And the summer is a great time to do that, because what do people like to talk about? Travel. Nobody wants to talk about work. They don't want to talk about this. They talk about gas prices, but anyway.
Yep. Those that are in the heat talk about Alaska. Those that are, they're sitting there and it's a cold summer day, they're talking about the beach. So, everyone knows that you are the Super Cruise guy, but is there another promotional group that you have going right now that's been what Wanda likes to call the, hey, come with me? Is there something that you have going right now that you started and then you just kind of hunted and gathered people based on, basically the itinerary that you have?
Well,
I didn't give you this question yesterday, did I?
That's fine. No, but we are putting something together for Europe for next year, and we already put our feelers out, and we're getting ready. My wife's getting ready to put it together, to book it. And again, it's part of the process of when you put a group together. You don't just say, hey, this is where I want to go. you reach out to the people that you think would be interested, and you get that core group, and then we're going to promote it from there. So yeah, that you didn't throw that at me, but yeah, there's things in the works, you know, and these are spin-off groups from, say, that Super Cruise group. And we have spin-off groups all the time. We just got a big family group, and that family group turned into, I'm speaking on my wife's behalf, into other groups, you know, and that type of thing. But I'll tell you, you know, when we talk about groups and I'm wandering off a little how to prepare and what to do this summer, you know what we're really seeing? A lot of people are calling, a lot of agents, advisors are calling. I just got 2 today. Companies that want to take their employees on vacation. These companies have made a lot of money. You know, some have, some haven't, but the companies have made a lot of money, and they haven't had to pay travel costs and a lot of other things. Yeah. They have funds to spend, and they want to take their employees on vacation. They want to get everybody back together again, and they're doing that. And we're seeing a lot of that going on.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, so when you're at your family gatherings and stuff, and the guy up the street owns a business, make sure you let them know that, you know, we want to send your employees on vacation. I'm your person. I can take care of you. And then call the department. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being here today. I absolutely love what you have to say. We always learn so much from you. And we'll see you hopefully soon. Destination Success is just around the corner.
Okay. I'll see you then.
All right. Thanks,
Bye,
Kevin.
everyone. Thanks for
All right, you guys, thank you for joining us today. Thank you to all of our sponsors, especially Apple Leisure Group, for being our primary sponsor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications so that you get a reminder to join us each week. So you guys, next week, I'm fumbling over my words. Good Lord. Next week, Matt is back. He's been in Alaska as a distinctive voyages host for Princess Cruise Line. That's part of the Travel Leaders Network program. So he is going to speak to us about his experience in Alaska. We'll also have Jim Tedesco, who will be with us at Travel Leaders Network Edge Conference coming up this weekend into next week. So be sure to tune in. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Take care.